let's toss aside the popular fan myth that Kai Parker was inherently evil from birth. The truth behind his cruelty is far more difficult to confront. People cling to the born sociopath storyline because it lets everyone else avoid accountability. But Kai was never a natural monster. He was a broken human manufactured entirely by the toxic rules and cold abandonment of the Gemini Coven. Bit by bit, the Coven tore this child's capacity for connection apart, leaving nothing but raw survival instincts hidden behind his sarcastic, playful smirk. For 8 seasons, fans label him the show's worst villain, a heartless Siphon who slaughtered his own family. Today, we'll re-examine every wound that led to his violent outbursts, without excusing any of his brutal crimes. What if all the bloodshed in the 1994 Prison World Massacre wasn't the origin of Kai's darkness? Instead, it was the unavoidable explosion of a 2-decade pressure pot filled with neglect and abuse. I want to make one critical point clear up front: none of this justifies murder. We're recontextualizing Kai not to defend his killings, but to reveal he is the ultimate casualty of a cult-like coven that turned his unique magic into a flaw to punish him. As a Siphon, an unnatural magical oddity in a clan obsessed with pure self-generated power, Kai was written off by his family as unworthy of basic humanity. Every harsh, violent choice he made was a defensive survival reaction to decades of institutional neglect and constant emotional torture at home. To truly unpack Kai's trauma, we first break down the agony of living as a Siphon within the Gemini bloodline. Picture growing up in a household where magical ability equals worth, yet you cannot create even a spark of power on your own. You can only draw magic from other people's bodies, so every blood relative views you as a parasitic burden. The Coven never accepted his unique magic as a neutral, natural variant. They framed it as a grotesque defect. As soon as Kai could walk, his father branded him a blood-sucking leech, a spiritual void that filled the whole family with fear. Far worse than the discrimination over his magic was the complete deprivation of physical affection forced on him. Siphons absorb power via skin contact, so the Coven enforced a strict no-touch rule against Kai. This counts as severe sensory torture for a developing child. Imagine a boy who never receives a single hug, never gets consoled when he cries, never feels gentle human touch without everyone treating it like a violation or theft. He was robbed of the oxytocin bonding hormones every child needs. Without gentle physical connection, the brain cannot build natural empathy and emotional attachment. The Gemini clan didn't merely ignore Kai, they banished him emotionally inside his own family home. Adults treated him like toxic radioactive waste, while lavishing his twin and other siblings with all the love, care, and physical comfort he was barred from receiving. This lifelong double standard built his permanent emotional detachment. If you're raised your whole life believing your touch hurts others, you cannot reasonably expect you'll grow to cherish human life. Kai didn't lose his kindness along the way. The Coven never gave him the space to develop it at all. The Coven's fixation on power and the merge ritual built a rigid rank system, where Kai existed only as an expendable backup. He watched every sibling get trained to lead the clan, while he was hidden away as an embarrassing family secret. This obvious bias wasn't just hurtful. It was institutional alienation that separated him from the group entirely. By his teen years, Kai had heard, "You're a monster," repeated thousands of times. The human mind cannot resist internalizing labels forced on it long enough. Eventually, he embraced the identity everyone assigned to him. Before we go further, I know many viewers will push back. Childhood trauma is no excuse for mass murder. I fully agree. Pain does not erase accountability. We analyze his formative wounds to understand his motives, not pardon his violent crimes. When society and family label a child a dangerous beast from youth, that child will eventually adopt that ferocious identity as self-defense. The 1994 killings in the prison world were not unhinged, random insanity. Kai reached for the only resource the Coven ever valued: magical power. In a last-ditch cry for recognition, he did not derive pleasure from slaughtering his siblings. His goal was to end the endless cycle of abuse the clan forced him into. What the audience sees as a horrific massacre was Kai's attempt to break free from a family that had long ago destroyed his inner self entirely. Next, we move to the 18-year confinement inside the 1994 prison world S6 core plot. The show frames this dimension as justified punishment, yet it is extreme sensory and social isolation torture. For 18 endless years, Kai existed in a static, empty reality with zero other living beings. His only constant sound was his own monologue, echoing. When you lock a already severely traumatized person away alone for nearly 20 years, you are not administering justice. You are finishing the complete collapse of their mental state. Long-term total isolation erases every trace of balanced mental functioning. Empathy functions like a muscle. It needs regular human contact to stay active. Trapped alone in the prison world, Kai had zero chance to practice compassion. Survival alone became his sole priority. By the time he escaped the dimension, Kai no longer craved love or belonging from a family. He only needed to ensure he could never be erased by anyone again. The most pivotal, devastating scene of Kai's arc is his merge with Luke's S6 mid-season plot, and this single sequence dismantles all born sociopath fan theories. When he absorbed Luke's full capacity for compassion and remorse, genuine emotion flooded into him instantly. He carried the full guilt of every murder he committed, acknowledged the suffering he inflicted, and actively sought out apologies to those he hurt. For that short period, viewers witnessed the gentle version of Kai that could have grown up without the Coven's abuse. This moment irrefutably proves his emotional numbness was a product of mistreatment, an adjustable symptom, not a permanent innate flaw. Yet look how Mystic Falls' so-called heroes reacted to his genuine shift of heart. They betrayed his fragile new vulnerability, weaponized his remorse, and cast him right back into isolation and darkness. Neither the town crew nor the Gemini Coven wanted a redeemed Kai. Their only acceptable outcome was his permanent elimination. This was the final breaking point for his fragile hope. It drilled one brutal lesson into his mind. No matter how much he tried to heal, the world would only ever view him as the monster his father labeled him to be. Kai's full arc stands as a powerful cautionary story. Familial neglect and collective ostracism can turn a hurt child into the monster everyone fears. He acts as a mirror, exposing the Gemini Coven's fatal flaw. Their blind fixation on pure magic made them abandon their own blood child. The clan feared Siphon magic so fiercely that they single-handedly forged a broken, traumatized person. Their obsession with a powerful bloodline poisoned their entire family's humanity from the start. Every cruel act Kai committed was a survival reflex against a cult-style clan that prioritized ancient tradition over children's well-being. His final attack at the Gemini wedding was not mere villainous rampage. It was the full cycle coming to an end. The Coven burst his trauma, tortured him for decades, cast him aside repeatedly, and, in their final gathering, they reaped the chaos they had spent years planting. It's completely valid to hold hatred for all the harm Kai inflicted on innocent people, but you cannot claim he was inherently cruel from birth. The bitter version of Kai was crafted inside the Gemini family home, forged by a mother who stayed silent through his abuse, a father who refused to face the son he rejected. Kai never set out to destroy everything on his own. The people around him shattered his spirit first, and he only returned the pain he'd been given. We are not obligated to forgive his violent deeds, yet we must recognize who held the tools to break him all those years. In Kai's whole storyline, the true antagonists hide behind the title of family. Drop a 1 in the comments if you think Kai's trauma explains his choices but does not excuse his crimes. Drop a 2 if you believe the Gemini Coven bears far more blame for everything that unfolded. Before you leave, check out my previous deep dive on Catherine Pierce's narcissistic trauma analysis for more Vampire Diaries character breakdowns. So, next time you rewatch Kai's Season 6 arcs, what's your honest take? Do you think he was purely born evil, or his rage came from a lifetime of unending Coven mistreatment?